All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is Easter Sunday, April 20th, 2025. Happy Easter to everybody. So we have an earthquake watch. It's the same coronal hole that gave us the 7 magnitudes that we had in Myanmar and the one that we forecasted over in the Tonga region, I believe. You can go back and watch those videos if you want. Some good information there. So let's get right into it. This is the coronal hole. It has been facing Earth for probably about a day and a half now. These forces from this coronal hole, it's a pretty large coronal hole, pretty powerful, as we'll see in the next tab over here. But we see that it is trans-equatorial and that it looks like it's most likely an extension of, again, that southern solar polar field that's of positive magnetic polarity. Just note that. So there's still a couple more days of these forces that are going to be facing Earth. And remember, once it's center disk right here at the center vertical line, that's when it's directly facing Earth. The thing is, those forces don't arrive here right as it faces Earth. It comes over here, and the forces from this part of the coronal hole should be hitting us any moment now, if not beginning to at least mingle with the Earth's interplanetary magnetic fields as we speak. But yeah, we'll be feeling the forces of this for a few days. So let's go on to the next tab over here. So this is the source surface model, and as you can see, we can confirm that it is green, which is positive electromagnetic polarity, and it's an extension of the southern solar polar field. So let's see what's going on here. So beginning this evening and probably lasting through at least the middle of the week, maybe even the later part of this week, I'd say maybe Thursday, we'll be on this watch period. Again, it's rather wide. It's already started affecting us. This won't be affecting us for another 4 or 5 days. So yeah, maybe into the end of next week, but beginning today, throughout the whole week, let's just say Monday through Friday, work hours. All right, so we looked there. So let's look, where can we find some low pressure cell points near some OLR anomalies here? Let's go down to the daily. There we go. Maximize this. Let's see what we're looking at here. So those two areas north of Australia. So I would, say probably Indonesia area, even just a little bit. It bleeds into there, and there's not actually a plate boundary here. The plate boundary is up here. So even though the OLR anomalies are down here, this is the nearest plate boundary they're close to. So I'd probably keep an eye on Indonesia, or I'll just make a mental note of that because we have other things we need to check. And let's look at some other areas. That area that we called out last time, a couple weeks ago. North of New Zealand, south of Tonga, looks like the highest risk area, and there is a plate boundary right there. So keep an eye on that area as well. Make a mental note of that. Let's see what else we got going on here. I'll look closer at this in a second. This area over here sometimes has been getting earthquakes that we've been noticing that normally don't occur there, but in the past 5 years or so, we've been starting to see them more over here. This area right here, I would say this, central, maybe even northern part of Mexico, closer to the coast. This is where the strongest part of the anomaly is, but this could all change. And again, this is the data from, the last set of 24 hours, not the current 24-hour period that we're in right now. We'll come back to this later. South America, if I see anything else there. All right, let's go on. I don't even know why I keep this page open anymore. So let's look at the earthquakes. So what's happened? Let's go by most recent. Actually, no, let's stay largest. So our largest is right just north of that area we just discussed, right there in Indonesia. Again, we have I think if I remember, we got them. Oops. Yep, right there and right there. So those two areas. Let's look at the mean sea level pressure, see what we got. See right there, but it's not on a plate boundary, but there's kind of plate boundary or boundary areas in this area, and this is where we're seeing those events. So yeah, I think those things are kind of connected right there. And then we looked at that area I told you in between New Zealand and Tonga, the strongest area, but we see all this stuff right here in New Zealand. I would actually think maybe even put New Zealand at a higher watch. Let's go over there real quick. Nothing there in the last 24 hours, but let's go over here and do things, be a little more accurate here. So let's do, no, sorry, that's not what I want. 4.0 minimum. Let's not do the past 5 days. Let's do, or past 7 days. Let's do, should we do the past 5 days? It might be a little much. Yeah, let's do the past 4 days. Oops. There we go. And we don't want those shallow events. We want the minimum to be at, well, we are going to have to look at Southern California because Mexico, so let's make it 60 today. Shallower subduction zone over there in the U.S. West Coast. Otherwise, I would normally have this at about 100 kilometers depth. So let's see what we got here. Let's do, definitely want to do this newest ones first so we could see things here. So yeah, I'd definitely keep an eye on this area. This is it's probably, I would say, one of the higher risk areas to have a major event in the next week. I do think that this could possibly change. More importantly, there's not a whole lot of civilization right here, and oftentimes they have 6 magnitude and 7, even 7 magnitude quakes here, and there's no damage. Nothing happens to anybody. It's fine. So better there than other places, but still kind of scary, especially for our followers in New Zealand. So let's go over here, and these are those 2 areas we were seeing those OLR anomalies, and there's a low pressure cell right here that's probably contributing to these. But yeah, that's a bit of a clustering right there. I'd keep an eye on this area. This, when did this happen? Let's see here. So the 19th, 16th, and then the 19th. Yep, I would put Afghanistan. Let's go look at those low pressure cells over there. Let me see. I think it's over here, right? It's, where did I see that? Okay, so it's, yeah, it's like on the northeastern tip of Afghanistan. Let's go check that out. Yeah, it's right on the edge of this low pressure cell here. That's in the shape of India. You'll see this sometimes. It's kind of funny, but that's, yeah, it's the base of the Himalayas right there, I believe. So you know, you're going to see that natural sort of border right there in almost any map of this region. It's just that big. That's how you can always identify India and China, and then on over here to, you know, Burma or Myanmar, whichever you prefer to call it. So yeah, in this area right here, let's look at this. Nothing too troubling, but actually this is probably the edge of it. And if anything, if this gets any stronger, this anomaly right here, or if it moves even and stays the same strength, I think we could see something larger happen right there. When did this happen again? Okay, so this was yesterday. Yeah, I would keep an eye on this area too, Afghanistan. So let's, so we got Afghanistan, New Zealand, Tonga, somewhere in that area, because they both have their own separate set of clustering. Let's just look at the mean sea level. I just want to get a good picture in my head of what's going on. Okay, yeah, so New Zealand, they have low, but nothing yet. So yeah, I would put New Zealand on that list. So Alaska, I'm 50-50 about Alaska. Maybe not so much. Alaska gets larger events like this a lot too. It's pretty common. Low pressure cell activity there, and it's probably going to move this way. So let's go down here to South America. We see this kind of clustering of this low pressure cell activity area, and then if we check the OLR there, that's funny. So maybe this is what's causing that, because this is just right to the right of that area. And again, this is from the, you know, not the last 24 hours from where we are now, but there's the last data set of 24 hours. It's the previous one. This is a lagging indicator, so to speak. It's updated seemingly every 24 hours. Actually, I don't know how often it's updated. I should look into that. But anyways, so yeah, I would say that area too, which is like the northern part of Chile, Argentina, Peru area right here. Keep an eye on that area and those areas, and maybe Mexico too. Let's go look at that again real quick. Yeah, so southern Mexico, definitely some low pressure cell activity. Have we seen anything down there yet? No. So I would put, yeah, this whole area, southern Mexico, maybe even into Central America right here, maybe even coming up to here. If we look at these areas right there, nothing major in the U.S. West Coast. Good news for us. I would put us on a low risk, but still a risk, you know. And all right, and I think that does it for the OLR anomalies and all that. So let's go back to here. Looking at this. Okay, this is something I want to check. We don't do this all the time. This is something I usually do about once a month, and I make a mental note of it, but I'll start live streaming it. And I guess here's kind of the first thing. I'll start doing maybe a monthly video where I just go over the planetary alignments, because these are actually important. And in another stream or another video, I'll go into detail of why we think this is, but we typically see certain planetary alignments increase seismic activity. And again, it's just because of the sun being heliocentric in the center of all of our orbits, and then that is the largest interplanetary magnetic fields, and then we all have our own, all the planets have their own individual interplanetary magnetic fields. And when there's certain alignment, those, you know, the theory is that those interplanetary magnetic fields mingle with each other and they create more intense flux transfer events. Transfer events, you should look that up, it's really cool. I named my record label after that, flux transfer music, I believe. Anyway, so actually this is from 27th of March. I was looking at this because this is a cute little alignment we had. That's just, was that on the 27th, or no, it was on the 24th-ish was when it really was. But anyways, that's not, that is not where we are now. Let's just go, oh, oops. I thought it would just like stop. And so let's go back to April 20th. Okay. So this is where we are now. So what do we have going on here? So we want to keep an eye on Jupiter and Saturn alignments. Those are the big dogs. So nothing too major there. Maybe something, yeah. Not seeing any Earth alignments. If we saw something out here, maybe, but that's just open space. So anything close by. Well, we do have this Mercury, Sun, Jupiter. Possibly. I don't really think so. I think we're a little bit out of the ways for that, probably. And again, there's no exact science to this. This is just kind of like, this is more of like a horseshoes and hand grenades approach to trying to line up magnetic fields that are never linear and are actually curved and basically a mixture of exponential torsion fields. So it's and they're constantly in motion too. So you never, again, so you kind of like, there's never going to be a direct thing, but the closer we can draw direct lines, the larger the probability that those forces are going to be at peak, you know, mixing and bonding and stuff. So, yeah, nothing major here. Let's see if we move forward a little bit. See if, when's this going to happen? So Earth, Sun, Jupiter, what's going on? See, this will be June 22nd. So we'll come back to this at another time, roughly June 22nd. We'll see. Yeah. So roughly June 22nd be Earth, Sun, and Jupiter. We'll definitely be doing a forecast for that. And again, I'll start putting up the monthly planetary alignment schedule, like which ones are going to be aligned and on which days, and then we'll try to correlate those times if we're going to have a watch period, because then we would increase the intensity of the watch period. I think that just about does it. I'll update this in a day or two, maybe Tuesday. I'll come back here and do an update on some of this stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to you. And if you want, you could follow us on X too. I believe it's at Quake Forecasts. You could find us on there. I usually just link these videos, and I'll start being more active on there as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, anything, if you want to support, just like, comment, subscribe. That's all the support we need. Quake Weather out.